What's going on, YouTube? Pop Culture Fandom, and I am back with the next part of my DVD 4K Blu-ray multi-media collection, physical media collection. If you're not familiar with it, I check out the first part 1, part 2, and then part 3, which I showcase the first row of my movie collection. So if you haven't seen it, check those 3 parts out. And I am back today with the last and final row of my media collection, my DVD Blu-ray collection. And hit that like button and subscribe if you like movies, if you like everything physical media, if you like everything pop culture. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I can really use it, guys. So let's get started at this end. It is so hard to take these movies out because, as you can see, this whole stack is heavy, so it's hard to do this row, and I really didn't feel like taking all these movies down. So first movie on this last row is the movie Rings. Now this movie is the third movie in the Rings trilogy. The first one being The Ring, the second one being Ring 2, and this one I think is the third, called Rings. Not too bad, actually. It's actually very good. I like it. You know, of course, I'm a big Ring fan. I love Samara. I love the Cursed videotape. I thought the first movie is one of my favorites. It's a classic. The second one, not everyone likes, but still good. This one, I think they did an okay job with it. It's still good too. Actually, I think this one is better than the second one. So, if you haven't seen this movie, it's called Rings. Let's put this aside. The next movie, X-Men Days of Future Past, which is part of the Fox X-Men franchise. Next movie is Sanctum. This movie is produced by James Cameron, who created Titanic and Avatar. This is a good movie. You know, it's very suspenseful. It's very claustrophobic. So if you like that closed kind of space, takes place underwater, trust me, you're going to love this movie. I say watch it on a big screen with the right system, a speaker setup with, like, you know, surround sound. I have yet to watch this on my new sound bar, so I bet it's going to sound really good. Next is The Punisher, starring Tom Jane and John Travolta. 2004. It's a good movie. It's actually better than the Punisher Warzone, which is the second follow-up film. Next movie is Mama. This is a good horror film about these 2 girls who ended up being abandoned in the woods, and then they grow up and they're raised by this supernatural entity, and she comes back and she tries to claim them for her own. Very good movie. Jessica Chastain, this is one of her best films. And Guillermo del Toro. She's really good in this movie. Next is Piranha. I saw this movie in theaters. Such a good time. It's so raunchy. It's violent. It's a good time. If you're looking for a fun horror film that's going to terrify you, make you scared, and also make you laugh too, this is the movie right here. It's very good. The second film is called Piranha Double D, which is not as good as this one. Elizabeth Shue is in this one. So this one is actually better than the original Piranha. Next movie is The Wolfman. This movie didn't get a lot of love from a lot of people. Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins. I like this film. I saw it in theaters. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't get good reviews, but you know what? I liked it, and that's why I decided to buy it. I haven't seen the original Wolfman from way back in the day, so I don't know how this movie compares to that one, but this is a really good remake of The Wolfman. Next movie, X-Men Origins Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds. Very good movie, I think. I like it. Next movie is The Bounty Hunter. I bought this movie at Walmart. This was a spur of the moment kind of watch for me. I went to the theater, giving it a try. Man, didn't have really much else to do that day, so I just decided, you know what, I'll just give it a try, see if I like it. Jennifer Aniston is good in this movie. Gerard Butler does an awesome job. It's more of a romantic comedy, so I don't really think it holds up too much today. It's definitely not one of Jennifer Aniston's best, but still not bad. The next film is Red Eye with Rachel McAdams and Cillian Murphy. This is a good thriller. Takes place on an airplane. It has a good twist in it, so you just have to watch it. As soon as they get to the airplane, that's when things start to go really bad. This is another movie that made me fall in love with Rachel McAdams. This is one of her best films. At least I think it is. I heard that they're actually making a remake of this, or either they're releasing it. I know they're releasing it on 4K, so I might upgrade it depending if I have the money. This next one is Devil. This is a good horror film. Oh my goodness, it is suspenseful, it's frightening. Like, what would you do if you were trapped in an elevator with 4 other strangers and you had no idea that one of those strangers was actually the devil? That's what this movie is about. And yeah, so it begs the questions like, okay, you know what? Bad things do happen for a reason. And you'll never figure out who the devil is actually among those strangers. The next one, the 4-film collection of Superman, which has Superman the movie, Superman 2, Superman 2, Superman 3, and Superman 4. The first one is very good. The second one, of course, is even better than the first one. The third one, I don't really have a problem with. You know, it has Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor. And then the fourth one is probably the worst out of all of them. I would say Superman 4, The Quest for Peace is sort of like Batman and Robin of the Batman franchise. It's the worst out of all 4 movies. But again, I'm a Superman fan. I love my superheroes. So regardless of whether they're good or bad, I'm going to love any movie with Superman or Batman. It's out the way. Okay. Next is X-Men First Class. This is another good one. This is what started the X-Men prequel trilogy. This is the first film I actually saw Jennifer Lawrence in. She portrayed Mystique. She is so good in this movie. The whole cast is very well done. James McAvoy as a young Professor X, and Michael Fassbender as a young Magneto. Very good origin tale of Professor X and Magneto and their team of the Brotherhood and the X-Men. Again, I thought Jennifer Lawrence was just amazing. This is another movie that just made me go, who in the world is that? I love her. Next is The Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. Very good. Very well done. Takes place in Japan. A lot of people didn't like the scene, with the samurai, and I can understand that. It was a little bit too much over the top. But this movie asked the question, what would happen if Logan became mortal? How would he deal with it? And so this movie sees him becoming mortal and sees him losing his mutant abilities, and as he's aging at the same time. So very good X-Men movie. Probably the second best Wolverine film. Next is Freddy vs. Jason. This is a good horror film. It probably is a letdown for a lot of people. A lot of people thought this movie was going to be like really big, epic. And it kind of was a good fight between Freddy and Jason. Not bad. It's definitely a horror film that you should watch at Halloween time. If you love Freddy Krueger, if you love Jason Voorhees, this pits them both together for the first time in franchise history. So, very bloody, very gory. Next is the 4 film favorites Batman collection. Of course, the first Batman is the best. Batman Returns, great sequel. Change with Batman Forever, and then the awful, terrible, everyone hates Batman and Robin. For me, it's become sort of it's still a fun film. It's not as good, of course, as the originals, and the whole franchise kind of changed with Batman Forever. So Michael Keaton will always be my favorite Batman, my favorite Bruce Wayne. So, but yeah. Next is Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life with Angelina Jolie. Very good sequel, good follow-up to the first one. I will say the first one is better. Angelina portrays Lara Croft so well. I think she's even better than Alicia Vikander in this role. So, I do like the first one better than this one. Next is The Woman in Black, which is a good psychological horror film starring Daniel Radcliffe. Now, a lot of you probably know him as, of course, Harry Potter in the Harry Potter franchise. It was surprising to see him in a horror film, and he actually does a decent job in this movie. It's a quiet film, very suspenseful. I will say the sequel is called The Woman in Black 2. Not very good. Did not like the sequel. That's probably the reason I don't have it. I started watching it, just didn't like it. I think this one is better. Saw this movie in theaters, and I did like it. Next is Orphan. What else can I say? This is an awesome movie. Isabel is so good in this film. This character is hers. She portrays Esther so well. I think she was only 11 years old when she did this first one. And you will if you've never seen it, which I'm sure everyone has seen it. Oh my goodness, the twist is just like, what in the world? Your jaw will drop. Like, you will not believe the twist. Like, unbelievable. Like, really? I think this one got a lot better reviews because of her age at the time, so it was really hard to believe because she was 11 years old. Next is Home Alone 2 and Home Alone 1, the 2 movie collection on DVD. These are classics, of course. Every holiday, you have to watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Every Christmas, these are the best ones. Macaulay Culkin is the best. Everyone knows that the first 2 are the best. The third one, from then on, I don't even have the third movie. I don't have any of the other films. These are the only 2 that matter. These are the only 2. But everyone's opinion. Some people do like the third one. Not as good. They're not as good as the first 2. This will always be the best. I'm trying to upgrade this to Blu-ray. Don't know if I should upgrade it or not. The DVD looks decent, but looks like it could be. I think it might look better on Blu-ray. What do you guys think? Next film is Kong Skull Island. I'm not a King Kong fan. Okay, I'm not a Godzilla fan. I did see this in theaters and was surprised by how much I did like it. Very much. Kong versus Godzilla versus Kong, I did not see. Not really a big monster fan, but this one was really good. It had great action in it. Tom Hiddleston was good in it. John C. Reilly was good in it. Samuel Jackson was a very good, in it, and it has a good cast. And I never upgraded this to Blu-ray, but I will say this is like one of the best monster films that I seen in terms of action and just overall spectacle. The next one is the Simpsons movie. I am a Simpsons fan. I love the TV series. I've been watching The Simpsons since the 90s. And I cannot believe that this series is still going, guys. It is still going strong. It just got renewed, I think, for seasons 34 and 35. So they are halfway through the 30s. They're almost to season 40. I heard some news that it's going to end soon. And, maybe they're even trying to see how it's going to end. But it's going to be a sad day for Simpsons fans. And it's going to be a sad day in general for television, because this is one of the longest running American sitcoms, animated sitcoms in TV history. So when it does end, it's going to be really sad. Oh, and by the way, I think they were talking about doing a sequel. It still hasn't come to fruition yet. So just waiting to see. Next we have what everyone likes to call the Snyder, the Justice League, not Snyder, but Josh Whedon's Justice League, with that god-awful covering up Superman's beard and mustache. I like this movie. I have no problem with it. I did notice that when I did see it for the first time, I definitely noticed there was something wrong with Henry Cavill's lips, and found out that they CGI'd his mustache off because he had to grow it for Mission Impossible Fallout. So he couldn't shave the mustache off when he had to do this movie. So they had to remove it with CGI, and it's definitely noticeable. It got a lot of people talking. I will say that the Justice League, the other version is a better movie. It is better than this one. But I don't have a problem with this movie. I really don't. Other than the fact that, that horrible CGI and Superman in the black suit in the new one, I wasn't really feeling it. Keep him in his classic blue. The next movie is Kidnapped with the beautiful, wonderful Halle Berry. Miss Berry, yes. I was surprised at how much I did like this film also. It's definitely up there with The Call, which is a movie she did before this one. This movie is very intense. And being a parent now, I have a son. So this movie right here, I will definitely be able to relate to. I have a 3-year-old. So, a 4-year-old who will be 5 soon. So this right here is just, whew. Before then, I can now relate to this film. And I'm sure every parent will be able to relate to this film. Like, what would you do? That's just the worst thing that can ever happen to you as a parent, is to have your child taken. The next movie is The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy. Oh, I love this movie so much. It makes me laugh every single time I see it. If I'm in a sad mood, if I'm irritated, I can just put this movie on and I just laugh every single time. It never fails to bring me to laughing. So this is underrated. It really is underrated. A lot of people need to give this movie a try if they have not seen it. If you like Eddie Murphy, if you've seen 48 Hours, this is one of his best comedies. It didn't do well at the box office. Mixed reviews were for it, but it's definitely one of Eddie Murphy's best films. So funny. It is definitely underrated, and it's an underrated gem. Definitely from the 80s, too. The next movie is Warzone Punisher, which is the second film which is a follow-up to the original Punisher. This one is a lot more violent, a lot more gritty, a lot more realistic. The first one is too, but that one's toned down. This one right here is a lot more violent. So this is Punisher at his best. What he does. And this character, just like Batman, you have to make it violent. You have to make it dark and gritty, because you can't do the Punisher any other way. It can be over the top sometimes with the villains, especially Jigsaw. They call him Jigsaw, who is a mob boss. The next movie is Wonder Woman. Yes, the original Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot. She is our Wonder Woman. She will always be the perfect Wonder Woman, the perfect person cast in this role. This movie is awesome. I give this movie an A, almost an A plus. It's not completely perfect, but I give it an A. And Patty Jenkins did an awesome job directing it. Everything is just so good. It's shot and paced very well. Wonder Woman 1984, I will say, is not as good as this movie, but it's still okay. So, and I love my DC and Marvel. So, the next one is Boogeyman. This is the movie from 2005. It's starring Barry Watson. This is the first film in the Boogeyman trilogy. There's the Boogeyman 2 and then Boogeyman 3. I did used to have the second one and third ones, but I had to trade. I traded them in, sold them to FYE, I think, for a few bucks, and I never really bought it back. They're so hard to find. The second one and third ones are so hard to find. The special editions. I have not been able to locate those movies for just the love of me. I haven't found them, which is why this is the only one I have. I don't have the other ones, but I'm going to find them and add them back to my collection. Oops. It's getting hard now to get these out. The next movie is Carrie with Chloe Grace Moretz. This is another film that I love. It's a good horror film. I have not seen the original Carrie with Sissy Spacek. This film, I think, is a really good remake of that movie. Chloe does a great job. Even as a young actress, she does so many wonderful. She has so many wonderful roles. You know, ever since Hit Girl, when she was in Kick-Ass. So, the next movie, of course, is Thor, which is part of the MCU. A very good intro to the Thor franchise. Very good MCU film. Very well done. So, if you guys have not seen Thor, check it out. The next film is Meet Me in St. Louis with Judy Garland. This is one of my favorite Judy Garland movies. I love her in this movie. I first saw this film when I got it from the library. When I used to live in Durham, I got it from the library, and this was one film that I actually watched on VHS. I had never seen it before, gave it a try, and I loved it. And I thought that Judy did a great job. It's a great musical, too. So if you guys love musicals, this brings you back to the 40s right here. Very good musical. And, ooh, it's hard to get these out. Next one is Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. This movie was a big disappointment for a lot of people. A lot of people didn't think it was that good. The big showdown between Batman and Superman was a big letdown, and I can completely understand why that was. So overall, though, and it's too long. It's a long movie, and I think the worst part of this movie is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Terrible. Horrible casting choice. That is not Lex Luthor. That is not a young Lex Luthor. Yeah, Lex Luthor does not act like that. Lex Luthor does not look like that. Worst choice ever to play Lex Luthor. The best thing about this film is when Wonder Woman shows up. That's the best part. So we get to see Gal Gadot debut as Wonder Woman for the very first time in live action. The next movie, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Oh, this is my childhood. My brother took me to see this movie, I think when I was around 6 or 7 years old, and I remember it so well. It was back in 1995, and I was a huge Power Rangers fan. I loved the series when the series debuted on Fox Kids. I've been a lifelong Power Rangers fan ever since. This is every 90s kid's. This is it. If you're a 90s kid, then you know what this is. And it was every 90s kid's favorite film. bought the VHS, wore it out, played it constantly. It came in this big plastic case. I love reminiscing about the 90s. It was so awesome to be a kid back then. And today's kids will never know how fun it was. The next movie is Unknown by with Liam Neeson in it. A very good mystery thriller. Will keep you on your toes, keep you guessing throughout. Another great performance by Liam Neeson. January Jones is also in it. And he's still he is still kicking butt, man. He is still in these films, doing these action films, and he is getting old and up there. But, just like Tom Cruise, Liam Neeson is still in it, man. The next movie is Hitman, unrated. This is with Timothy Olyphant and Olga Kurylenko. This is the first movie adaptation of the video game. I've never played the video game series, so I know nothing about, the story or the plot or where, the characters. I know about Agent 47. So just because I had a little bit knowledge of the game, that's one reason why I decided to watch this movie, and it became one of my favorites. Like I said before, any movie based on a video game, or any movie based on a comic book, or any movie that's based on, I'm going to love, regardless of how good it is, regardless of how bad it is. I'm pretty much going to love it, because I love to see video games adapted into live action film. The next one is Logan. So good. So awesome way for Hugh Jackman to go out as this character. A great conclusion to his character arc. A great Wolverine film. It's amazing. It's so emotional. It's an emotional story, and the ending is just, it might bring you to tears. It's so heartbreaking, and it's so sad. But it's such a great movie. And Patrick Stewart as Professor X does another great job, and Hugh Jackman is our Wolverine. He will always be. No one else can be Wolverine. The next film, The Mask, from the 90s, Jim Carrey's best, one of his best. This movie is up here with Dumb and Dumber. It's so hilarious. It's a classic. It's also up there with Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. So if you love Jim Carrey, have never seen The Mask, check it out. You'll be like, wow, very funny. And Cameron Diaz as the beautiful Tina Carlisle. This is her feature film debut, and she is an absolute stunner. A knockout. The next film is The Green Hornet with Seth Rogen and Cameron Diaz and Jay Chow as Kato. I knew a little bit about The Green Hornet. Never really listened to I don't know if it was the 30s or 40s, just to be on the radio show. But I thought this was a very good adaptation of the character. It's silly, it's upbeat, it's a comedy, it's fun. It is super fun. So the next one is Hitman Agent 47. This was supposed to be a sequel to the first Hitman with Timothy Olyphant. And Timothy Olyphant, I think he replied like the only reason he did the first film is to pay for his house or something. He didn't really want to be in it. This movie has Rupert Friend as Agent 47. To me, this one is a better adaptation. This is a better Hitman movie than the first one. So, it can be a little bit confusing story-wise. So, but I think this one is a better film. Next film is Case 39 with Renee Zellweger. I love her in this movie. This is a movie that made me fall in love with her. I will say that after this film, I think she quit acting for a while, because we didn't see Renee in any other movie after she did this film. Ian McShane does a good job. Bradley Cooper is in this movie, which I didn't really recognize him at first. So this is another good suspense thriller, and it has a scene in it that will make you squirm. If let's just say if you don't like insects, do not watch this film because there is a scene in it where they're insects and they're doing something that might creep you out. The next film is A Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, 2010 reboot with Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. I like this movie. I didn't have a problem with it. Everyone is definitely used to Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. I think that he did a good job portraying the character. He did as best as he could, guys. You know, you only can do what you're giving. You can only do as good as your what you're given in the script. Whoops. Okay, move this out the way. Whew. Almost there, guys. Almost through. Next one is... Oh, already did that one. Next one is AVP, Alien vs. Predator. I've never been an Alien vs. Predator fan, but this movie, bringing them together, sort of like a Freddy vs. Jason movie, was very entertaining. This is the full screen, as you can see. I accidentally bought the full screen version from FYE. Didn't realize it was the full screen version. So now it's like, if I upgrade this film, which I probably will, I'll get it on Blu-ray. And maybe get rid of this version. Or maybe keep it. But if you like the Predator franchise, the Alien franchise, I think you might like this movie. Next movie is Jason X. What else can I say about this film? It takes place in space. You know, Jason in space. That's pretty much what it is. It's Jason in space. And what would he do on a space station? In the year, like 3000 something, Uber Jason gets destroyed. He gets rebuilt to be indestructible. Metal Jason. The special effects in this film probably don't hold up as well today. But, you know, it's still a Jason film, still a horror film. Not the best, but... Next is the director's cut of Daredevil. This is the best version. This is the best version of this film. This film, of course, does not get a lot of love. I don't even see a lot of people with it in their collection. Ben Affleck probably wasn't the best Matt Murdock or the best Daredevil. But this director's cut is definitely an improvement of the theatrical version of the film. Rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan. He did a good job as the Kingpin and Bullseye. And then, of course, Jennifer Garner as Elektra. First time we ever see live-action Elektra on screen. Next movie is Quarantine. This is a found footage film. Now, I'm not a fan of found footage movies. I really don't like them too much. I wasn't a fan of the Blair Witch Project. I gave this movie a try, and the more I watched it, the more it kind of grew on me. So that's why I decided to keep it. I had no idea that it was a found footage film. It's all shot with that whole, handheld camera to make it look as realistic as possible, to make you look like it's actually happening in real time. It's very immersive, very scary. So, yeah. Let's just say we were all in a quarantine we were all in a quarantine recently. And let's just say that at least the virus that we all went through did not turn people into bloodthirsty mutants. The next movie is Shudder. It's from executive producer of The Ring and The Grudge. It's another Japanese American adaptation. So, it's scary. It's very suspenseful about this couple and this dark secret that the husband is actually keeping from his new wife. And actually, that dark secret comes back to haunt him, and he ends up losing everything. and he's stuck with his burdens and what he did in the past. So, very good psychological thriller. Almost there. The next one, guys, is Aquaman. This is a DC movie, and very long, and it can be boring. It takes place a lot of it takes place underwater. So a lot of people say it's boring. A lot of people are not interested in it. I understand. I see how you feel, and overall, it's a fun movie. You know, Jason Momoa does a great job as Aquaman. Arthur Curry, again, just like Gal Gadot. This is our Aquaman. You know, Black Manta is in this movie, and the sequel is going to be called Aquaman. I can't wait to see the sequel to this movie. Hope it's not as boring though. Hope it's not as boring. Hope it's not as long. Probably will be. Next one, guys, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which is the sequel to the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's produced by Michael Bay. They're called the Michael Bay Turtle films. I actually think the first film is better than this one. I prefer the first one. Rocksteady and Bebop are introduced in this film. And again, I'm a Ninja Turtles fan, so good or bad, any Turtles adaptation, movie adaptation, I'm going to love. I don't have the 90s movies, but I will be getting them hopefully this year. And I'll put it on my channel when I unbox it from Amazon. The next film is The Incredibles. I usually don't like animated films. I'm not too big on Pixar films or the Disney animated films, but I love this movie. I love superheroes. I'm a big superhero fan, so if this movie wasn't about superheroes, I probably wouldn't have it in my collection. Yeah, this is one of the best Pixar films that they ever did. And I also do have the sequel, which I will show you next. Next one is The Incredibles 2. And this one is even bigger than the first one. The first one will always be special. This one is very good too. A lot more action, a lot more in-your-face adventure. So Disney and Pixar did another great job. It took a long time to make this movie, but they did a really good job with it. Next film is Men in Black 3, which is the sequel to the last of the Men in Black films. Very good movie, probably the best one in the whole trilogy. Not as good as the original, but better than the second one. Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, of course, came back. I think they're coming back and they're trying to make a fourth Men in Black. I would watch it. Absolutely. I would completely look forward to it if they made a new one. Okay, next one, guys. We're almost at the end. Men in Black 2. I've had this movie for as long as I can remember. I got this movie back in 2002. As you can see, it is old. Good sequel, but not as bad, not as good as the original. I think I got this movie from a movie subscription service. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called Columbia House DVD Club. Back in the early 2000s. Yeah. The next film I got is Men in Black. The original Men in Black from 1997. I remember seeing this in theaters. My brother took me to see this film. And it's a good sci-fi film. It's nostalgic. It's a classic. Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones. This is the one that started it all. Next film is X-Men, The Last Stand, which is the third X-Men film. This movie, I don't know what to say. So many things wrong with this movie. They killed off major characters. The storyline, the story plot is uninteresting. The special effects are really good. The action's really good. Everyone returns. But come on, you cannot kill off Cyclops. It's like Cyclops is one of the number one X-Men. you know, besides Wolverine and Storm and Jean Grey. It's like, you're going to kill off a major character. You're going to make a lot of people mad who love the X-Men. Next film is X2, X-Men United. Very good sequel. This is a full screen version, but this is a very good sequel, way better than the original. Very good, very action packed, very great storyline. Brian Cox is in this movie. You know, Brian Cox as William Stryker does an awesome job. Next film is the original X-Men movie from 2000. This movie, as you can see, this is one of the first ones I bought. And this case right here is very unique, is that I have not seen anyone else with this film in their collection with this case from early 2000s. So I've had this movie for years. And I probably will keep it, but I'll upgrade. I'll probably still keep it. But yeah. It has got its wear and share. And the last three films, RoboCop 3, sequel to RoboCop 2 and 1. Robert John Burke plays Alex Murphy in RoboCop in this one. Nancy Allen is in this movie. I don't have a problem with it. The only thing I don't like is Nancy Allen, her character of Anne Lewis being killed. This movie made me fall in love with her too, Nancy Allen. Ooh, come on. Second to last, the sequel, RoboCop 2. I like this movie. I don't think it's as good as the first one. They toned down the violence in this film, so it's not as violent as the original. Peter Weller returns as RoboCop. And Alex Murphy. And of course, you know, Nancy Allen comes back as Anne Lewis. And again, she's amazing in this film. And the last one is RoboCop, guys. The original RoboCop from 1987. It's a classic. What else can I say? Peter Weller is RoboCop. No one will ever replace him in this role. He is the best. He always will be the best. Yeah, it was definitely dark, gritty, violent, and very good, very well done. Ooh, that was a lot, guys. But that is it. That is the last row, of my physical media collection. Those are all my DVDs, guys. If you have not checked out the previous video, check it out of the third row that I did. And then I did a video on the second row. The first, second, and third rows are DVDs. And the original, the top row are the 4Ks and Blu-ray discs. So, as you can see, this space, I'm almost to the top. I'm almost to the top of the ceiling. So as I add more and more, I am running out of room. I have nowhere to put these at. So what I'm going to do is the more and more I collect, I'm going to have to start stacking them on this side over here and going over. So I hate to cover up my mini posters at the top. But when I run out of room, I got to find another shelf or somewhere else to start putting them. Because I'm not getting rid of these. These are my babies. I love these. These are my babies. I go to them whenever I'm feeling depressed or sad or angry or irritated. This is my safe spot. I love these. Every single one of these films that I have seen. And I can just watch them over and over again. And they never fail to put a smile on my face. Anyway, guys, that is the last part of my media collection. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Again, if you love physical media, if you love Blu-rays, DVDs, 4Ks, if you love everything pop culture, you know, subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button. give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you all on the next video. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Peace.